Welcome to the perfect beginner's guide for No Man's Sky Frontiers. I'm going to show you all my secrets on how to get yourself a really good multi-tool. We're going to pimp it out all the way. I'm going to help you upgrade every single general, technology, and cargo slot to their maximum. While we do it, we're going to make over 3 billion. I'm going to help you find a new ship. We're going to pimp that out all the way as well. I will also show you how to get a free capital class freighter, not even going to cost you a single penny. I'm going to build a really awesome base on this as well. While we're making our money and upgrading our suit, well, I'm going to show you exactly how to get all your glyphs. Once you have all your glyphs together, I'm going to show you how to get a cheese maker of your very own. That gun is so totally glorious, but before we can do that, we must start a fresh save. Prepare yourself, traveler. This guide is packed with every single tip I use to progress quickly. The tips in this guide can be used in any mode: normal, survival, even permadeath. When you start out with a fresh save, you're not going to have very much environmental protection, so you really need to find a cave. In order to survive, you need to find sodium and oxygen. To fix your multi-tool, you're going to need to find carbon as well as ferrite dust. Here we go. We're just about to be able to play. This is the beginning of greatness. The direction I am facing right now is the direction of my crashed ship. The main reason why all smart travelers look for caves in the beginning, well, there are these hazardous flora plants all over the place, and they will always drop either oxygen or sodium. Considering you're going to need a stash of sodium to re-up your hazard protection, and you're going to definitely need some oxygen if you plan on breathing, caves are the place to go. Caves will always recharge your environmental protection for free. That's pretty awesome. Just watch out for those daggone poisonous plants inside and out. That gas is no joke. At this point, my environmental protection is getting really low. I'm going to have to stay out here and mooch just about as long as I possibly can. Then we're going to run inside and duck for cover. I definitely need to scarf up some more ferrite dust, and I hope I have enough carbon, and if I don't, I hope I can farm that inside the cave, because I need to get this multi-tool repaired as soon as possible. When you get inside the cave, make sure you farm as much of this cave marrow as possible. A little later in the video, I'm going to show you how to refine that down to sodium, which is your environmental protection. You need tons of that. Now that we're safe in the cave, I'm going to toggle my camera view just so I can see my little dude. There you are, man. That's my little dude. Well, at least before we change his skin. Now let's get back to work. This cave looks pretty cool. It doesn't look like I can find any ferrite dust in here, but I can find all kinds of carbon, and I can mine that in complete and total safety away from the elements. I'm going to take full advantage of that. Before I run out of mining juice, I might as well show you how to mine effectively. Now, it all has to do with keeping your laser beam as hot as you possibly can. The hottest it turns red, and you're going to be doing 100 damage all the time. Now, the trick is to turn your laser on and off, but keep it on mostly. Try not to let it overheat. You're going to be doing 100 damage most of the time. Well, until you run out of juice, and you're going to have to recharge your laser, that is. After I get my mining beam charged up, let's see if we can get this multi-tool fixed. Now, I hope I got enough ferrite dust. I'm not sure. It's pretty close. I only need 2 more. Well, that's dumb. Well, I guess we're heading back outside into the harsh environments. I know I have plenty of sodium, but it's pretty stupid when you only need 2 more. I just needed to find 1 more rock and I'd have been fine. Hello, McFly? Where? Okay, there's one over there. Gosh, man, there's like hardly any ferrite dust here at all. Let's just hope I can find a lot more of that later. In the meantime, we're going to get this scanner repaired. Definitely have enough ferrite dust now. While we're at it, let's install an analysis visor. This is going to help me get secondary drops. It's going to take a carbon nanotube. That's simple enough to make from carbon. There we go. Let's get it installed in the multi-tool. And there we go. Now I can get the secondary drops from all elements that I scan. Seeing as how we have ourselves a perfectly good cave, I might as well run in there and scan from the safety of a perfect environment where I'm not going to get bucked down by the elements. In the very beginning of the game, scanning and then uploading every plant, animal, and mineral you find is a decent way to make nanites. Now, don't get too focused on that. Mostly, I'm just here to try to find a good secondary element drop. I mean, seriously, who doesn't love scanning for precious little life forms? There you go. Little squid creature. Don't know what the heck you are, but I'm gonna scan you too for nanites. This is the one time basically in my gameplay that I scan absolutely every single thing that I can find, because after I get off this planet, get my new base set up, I'm not going to have to worry about money or elements anymore, because I'm going to be able to buy absolutely everything. Caves are also another great place to find humming sacks. They're going to give you albium pearls. You can also find vortex cubes in some caves as well. Now, albium pearls and vortex cubes aren't worth a whole heck of a lot of money, but to a noob like us right now, if we can afford the bag space, we can afford to loot them. For a bit, I'm going to spend a decent amount of time in this cave, maybe 15 minutes or so. I'm going to farm up as much of the carbon as I possibly can. I'm also going to farm up as much cobalt as I can. That element right there is a key to our success when we're making billions in No Man's Sky. The really neat thing is we're getting salt as a secondary element drop. Salt can be turned into chlorine, then chlorine can be mass produced on a large scale, making you hundreds of millions in a very short period of time. Operation Mooch the Cave was a complete success, so let's start scarfing up some of these dihydrogen crystals. Looks like I forgot to analyze that plant, so I'll worry about that later. The hydrogen crystals are used as rocket fuel for your spaceship, so you want to make sure you have a decent amount of this on hand, especially in the beginning. When you're out in the wild on a planet's surface, there will always be these ugly looking plants that have these gassy pods. If you pick those, you actually get oxygen for them. They always have 3 pods. Whenever you're done picking them, well, you can just blow them up and get even more oxygen. It's just really a win-win situation. When you're out on the planet, no matter where you're going, you're always looking for as much sodium as you can find. They will always be those glowing little yellow plants. Whenever you come across these damaged machinery, you always want to go up there, open it up. You're going to get a piece of slime. That can be refined into nanites later, but more importantly, you'll either get nanites or you're going to get some kind of upgrade that you can sell for nanites. If you ever find these blue deuterium plants, they give you an endless supply of rocket boost for a very short period of time. What this does is just helps you cover a really big distance without having to run all the way there. Alright, well, that was easy. Looks like we made it to the ship. Now it's just time to start the ship quest, which you're going to have to figure out on your own. Don't worry, it's really simple. I just don't want to spoil anything for you. Once you finish off that little bit of the storyline, we're going to have to go out and get a hermetic seal, but in the meantime, we're going to need to repair as much of the ship as we possibly can with what we can. Let's quickly make a dihydrogen jelly so we can get that launch thruster repaired. Don't worry, we can get the pure ferrite here in just a little bit after I make this portable refiner. First things first though, let me get all that marrow bulb that we farmed up in the cave turned into sodium. I'm going to need that on the next leg of the journey when we're going to go get our hermetic seal. These personal refiners do require fuel. You can use either condensed carbon or carbon. Once it's in there, you can begin the process. It'll get the job done. Let's turn some of our stash of ferrite dust into pure ferrite. We can get the other part of the ship repaired. Then we'll go track down that hermetic seal. With this last bit of ferrite dust, we will have the ship repaired as much as we possibly can. Now it is up to you to do the remaining part of the ship quest in order to track down the hermetic seal. The one thing I will mention though is on the way to get your hermetic seal, there will always be a storm, so be prepared for that, traveler. Whenever you find these green crates, make sure you loot that rust as well, because it can be refined down to ferrite dust, and in the beginning, you need as much ferrite dust as you can get your hands on. When you arrive on location, there will almost always be a damaged machinery. You can get yourself some more slime or rust, it doesn't matter. Your ultimate goal is to get nanites right away or something you can sell. Once inside, you will complete a little mini quest that has to do with your storyline. You'll get the hermetic seal. You're now free to head back to your ship. Make sure you're stocked up on a bunch of carbon as well as ferrite dust. Made it back to the ship. I'm refining all that rust into ferrite dust. While I'm at it, I might as well upload all of these discoveries I found with the discovery scanner, turning them into nanites. I'm mostly just trying to ensure that once I run across the advanced mining laser, I do have enough nanites to purchase it. Alright, dun dun dun, drum roll. Looks like we made 104 nanites. That's not too bad. With what I've found so far, we definitely have enough for the laser. Hopefully this ferrite dust is just about finished cooking up. Yep, looks like it's almost done. We're gonna get the ship prepared and get the heck on out of here. Once I lift off the ground, I really try my very best to plow through as much of the quest as possible. Make sure that you have your Awakenings quest line targeted in the log section and then fly up into orbit. At this point, the game is going to want to teach you how to fly your ship. I just like to take this time right now to farm up a few asteroids. We will need gold, we will need silver, and we will need tritium in order to complete a lot of the quest lines here in a little bit. Once you learn how to fly your ship, you will be sent to a signal source location. This is where you're going to get your terrain manipulator. Once you've landed, all you need to do is bust out your scanner, and it is going to tell you the direction that you need to run in order to find the signal source. Once you find the signal source, you will be able to download the plans for the terrain manipulator. You will also receive the blueprint for the base computer. This gives you the ability to claim an area and then throw down a base anywhere you want. We now have our base computer and our terrain manipulator. It is now time to put down roots and build our very first new base. Now I like to do that at a trading post just like this or at a miner's settlement. Now this planet does have ancient bones on the surface, which is a good way to make money, but since you can't always count on that, I'm not going to really show much of that in this video. Once you place your base computer, you can now claim the base. This is going to make sure that there are no other base computers in the area, and if there aren't, this entire location is now yours. Only you or your friends that you allow can build here. In just a little bit, we're going to have to go searching for buried technology. In order to get to that technology, we're going to have to create the terrain manipulator. Looks like I need to make a couple nanotubes. That's going to be simple enough. Once we have this terrain manipulator in here, this guide's really going to start taking off once we get our base pimped out. Interacting with your base computer for the second time will give you the ability to download a whole bunch of base building blueprints you can use to create your newbie castle. Let's get to building. The very moment that you place your first block, you're going to get a warning that a storm is incoming. This happens every single time you start building your first base. Just get the walls up as fast as you can and make sure you get the roof to cover you. I like to go at least 2 stories high. Never fear, traveler, at this point in the game you have stocked up on plenty of sodium. You're likely going to get this roof on anyway before you even take any hazard damage. That is if you didn't wait to the very last second to farm carbon, because if you did, right now you're going to find yourself in a little bit of trouble and you're going to waste a whole bunch of your sodium stash. I created and placed a few more refineries. It's now time to create the construction research unit. This is going to be how we pimp out our little newbie starting base. In just a bit, I'm going to show you how to find buried technology. You're going to need a whole bunch of that. We're going to need to get this portal turned on and every single thing we need to keep it on. Well, I'm out looking for buried technology and I ran across an ancient burial site. This planet is relatively special. You can't count on this happening each and every single time. Your system might not even have a planet or moon that has these there. But since they're here, I'm going to mooch up this one site just to show you how much money you can make if you find a decent amount of the good bones. And by good bones, I mean anything that's not blue. It's either purple or yellow. There we go, that's a purple. That's going to be worth a decent amount of space bones. Scarfed up the last bone, of course it's a blue, and there you go. I ended up with 1 purple and 3 blues. When looking for buried technology, you're looking for 2 things. You're looking for that white shield shape right there, or you're looking for a piece of damaged machinery. Damaged machinery, almost in every case, will have a piece of buried technology right next to it. Once you've yoinked up all your nanites, notice how there is a little blue shield shape on the ground right there. That signifies that there is buried technology right there. All you have to do is dig it up with your terrain manipulator, and there you go. This is where RNGesus plays in a little bit. You can get between 1 and 4 salvage datas with each dig. Most of the time you're going to get 2, sometimes you're going to get 4. I ended up snagging 26 salvage data, which is pretty awesome. Let me show you how much money we're going to make by selling these bones. That's 400 and some thousand just for that purple. That's pretty freaking amazing. Let's get that last blue bone sold, and it looks like we are going to be around 800 and some thousand. That's pretty daggone awesome considering I just started the game. With 26 salvage data, you can research every single blueprint on this construction research terminal. For now, I'm going to buy everything else except for this health station and the protection unit. The save beacon and the signal booster, I'm just going to go ahead and snag that up right now. Anyways, we're not going to need it right away, but we will need that much later in the game. Time to place the base teleport module. After we get that done, we're going to need to place a biofuel reactor and then wire them up together in order to complete a little bit of our base quest. Now remember all that slime I've been looting earlier on in the video? Well, you can refine that down to runaway mold, which then can be turned into nanites. More importantly though, we need magnetized ferrite, and you can make that from pure ferrite within your refinery. Not only did I need magnetized ferrite, I had to create a little bit more condensed carbon just so I could throw down 2 batteries. You can make condensed carbon just by putting carbon in your refinery. Let's get these 2 batteries wired up to the biofuel reactor, which will connect it to the portal itself. After that, we're going to go up on the roof and then make a bunch of solar panels. Well, I don't have any chromatic metal, and in order to get that, I need to mine copper. Now, the reason why I was able to make my base computer earlier, I just destroyed that missile rack in my ship, which gives you 100 copper, which you can then refine down into 50 chromatic metal. Well, I'm a little bit short to make these solar panels, so I need to mine up a bunch of copper real fast. Back at the base, I got all the chromatic metals sorted, and I have plenty of gold from mining those asteroids earlier in the video. I'm just going to make 3 solar panels. That's going to be plenty of power for this newbie base. Time to get everything wired up. Unfortunately, it's still considered nighttime, so I'm not going to be getting any power from these solar panels anytime soon. We're going to have to use the biofuel reactor anyways to get this portal started. When refueling your biofuel reactor, just make sure you don't drop your entire stack of carbon or oxygen on that, because it will totally and completely piss you off. If you do that, then you're not going to have any of that stack. You're going to have to get more. This newbie base is pretty much set up. We have a portal where we can go anywhere we've ever been, as well as come right back to this newbie base whenever we need to. Once you have your newbie starter base all set up, what you need to do is bust out the Awakenings quest as fast as you can. This is going to help you get warp cells so you can go anywhere you want. While you're at it, you might as well change what your little tune looks like once you get onto the space stations. While you're in the process of doing your Awakenings quest, you will always be given the opportunity to find a crashed ship, and if you're lucky, it's going to be a super good ship. Chances are it's going to be better than the one you start with, at least. At these crashed ships, you will always be given a puzzle to complete. Sometimes it's just as easy as extracting the records, and looky there, I just found an advanced mining laser. That's totally win. Well, unfortunately, she is a C class and she is pretty damaged. No worries on the damage, we can get that sorted later. Now the only thing that's left to do is claim this ship. Now we are the proud owners of 2 ships. At this point, I have completed all of the Awakenings quests up to the point where I can finally get on the space anomaly, and I also repaired some of those damaged components in this S-Class hauler just to increase the value so I can scrap it for later. And man, oh man, does it seem like a lot of people are enjoying playing No Man's Sky Frontiers. Just look how packed the anomaly is, it's freaking crazy. Once you do a little questing on the anomaly, head over to the construction research terminal, snag yourself up this medium refiner. Right after that, get yourself a large refiner. Snag up the Roamer Geo Bay. That's a really cheap vehicle to help you grab more buried technology. You can waste your time buying these cuboid rooms. I didn't need to do that right now, but more importantly, you need to get the Galactic Trade Terminal. At this point in the game, you have completed the Warp Cells quest. You can go absolutely anywhere you want within the Euclid Galaxy. Right now, it is time to make a whole boatload of money, and in order to do that, we're going to need a ton of oxygen. I'm basically going to let every single bit of money I have burn a hole in my pocket by buying a bunch of oxygen off these little ship guys that land on the space stations. Once you purchase all the oxygen you can afford, head back to your newbie starter base to build as many medium refineries as you can. The more the better. Now that your medium refineries are in place, it is now time to turn that little bit of cobalt you have into a whole bunch of ionized cobalt. We're also going to turn that little bit of salt that we had into chlorine and then mass produce that stuff by converting it with oxygen. Well, when you know it, I ran out of oxygen and I need more oxygen money, so it is time to say goodbye to the radiant pillar that I started with on this save. Goodbye, precious little ship. You served me well. Not too worried about it though. I always get a really snazzy S-Class exotic here, just a little bit anyway. Whenever you need to sell any type of blueprint, just come over to any of those vendors on the left side that offer them for sale, go to the sell section, and then just sell off everything you have. Here's my first sale of chlorine. Now it's not going to be a lot because I left a full stack of chlorine in each of my refineries. This is just the overflow. It's just enough to get us to just under 17 million. One of the other things I love to do at this stage in the game while I'm buying oxygen and trying to build up my money making abilities is to scrap any A or B class ships that are really super cheap. Now haulers and some fighters will be expensive, just focus on the nice cheap ships. Don't forget to dismantle all the extra pieces in the ship before you scrap it. That antimatter right there is going to make you a whole bunch of free warp cells. You can sell everything else if you want, possibly keep some of the wiring looms. Every time you buy one of these cheap ships, head over to the scrapper and scrap it down. You're going to get a whole bunch of components you can sell on the ship, guys, and you'll also get some blueprints you can sell on the vendors just to the right of here. Your ultimate goal is to earn nanites as well as a big pile of these storage augmentations. They can be used to add free slots to your starships in the technology or the general section. I'm basically going to be saving those storage augmentations for when I can find a nice S-Class exotic. Still buying oxygen and scrapping ships when I came across this really ugly little S-Class shuttle. I think I'll just take this one for now until I find my pimp-looking S-Class exotic. Once you exchange your ship like that in order to get a better buy price, head back over there, talk to the NPC. You're going to be able to buy it right back for free. At that point, you can keep it or scrap it. It's totally up to you. I'm basically broke as hell again, but I have turned all of that oxygen into a whole bunch of chlorine and ionized cobalt. It is now time to have a freaking massive payday. During that time of buying oxygen and scrapping ships, I ended up making over 6,000 nanites. If you play in survival mode or permadeath, you understand that stack sizes are 250 or 500. This makes selling large quantities of items difficult. That's why I like to build next to a trading post or a small settlement. For normal mode it's easy though, just like making that 90 million right there. That was relatively easy and did not take me very long to make. Here we are 22 minutes later. Let's do this one more time. Then I'm going to turn the remaining ionized cobalt that I have in my refineries back into cobalt. We're going to start our next leg of the journey where we're going to upgrade our suits and get our glyphs. When you know it, the first time I came to the anomaly, I forgot to buy my personal refiner. So since I'm here, I'm going to snag that up and snag up anything else I feel like buying while I'm here. Don't worry about letting your nanites burn a hole in your pocket. You're going to be making tens of thousands of nanites while we're scrapping ships, upgrading our suit, and getting our glyphs. So just go ahead and buy whatever in the heck you want, because you'll be buying every single blueprint that these vendors have to offer. You know, I should be upgrading my suit slots, but I literally can't just stop scrapping ships, making tons of nanites, and selling chlorine right here at my daggone little newbie base. Now I'm over 300 million. Time to install the economy scanner I bought at the anomaly. This is going to help us only go to wealthy systems. From now on, with the help of the economy scanner, we're only going to go to wealthy systems, and those are advanced, affluent, booming, flourishing, high supply, opulent, prosperous, and wealthy. These systems will have the highest amount of stock for minerals and gases, and I will also get a bonus to finding S-Class ships and freighters in these systems. So this is the fourth system I've been to now since I've started this fresh save, and every single time you come to the space station, you can upgrade a backpack, general technology, or cargo slot. This is my fourth upgrade, and I'm going to add this to my general slot, but if you are playing either survival or permadeath, you most definitely want to upgrade your cargo inventory first. After I have checked to see if the multi-tool in the cabinet sucked, which it did, I am now going to go ahead and rename this system. And since it is a GEC Energy Supply Affluent, I'll just name this GEC Sup Afflu. I know it's kind of dumb, but that's what I do. All that's left to do now is just upload it for 15 nanites. I'm going to do this for each system that we visit. According to my stopwatch, I have been playing No Man's Sky for 4 hours and 2 minutes straight, and if that's true, this very next stop we make is going to be a freighter encounter. Whenever you rack up 4 hours of gameplay on your save, you will always run into a freighter encounter every single time you warp to a new system. Well, we're fixing to lay the smack on these bad guys, and if we like this freighter, we might keep it. Chances are I'm gonna just pass on it so I can get an even better one next time. Man, these photon cannons totally suck. Now I'm all freaking excited about my next freighter battle 4 hours from now, where I barely look at these guys with my S-Class ship, sneeze on them, and they die. These look like the last two bad guys? Take that, you daggone scumbags. Take that. Once you have defeated all these ships, the admiral of the ship will contact you, ask you to land, and if you want, you can get this freighter for free or accept some kind of random reward. Speaking with the admiral will give you 3 options. You can inspect the freighter, request payment instead, or decline. Now check her out. She is a B-class, kind of an old Beaters 80 model. I don't think we want this one. And since I'm basically space greedy, well, I'm just gonna request payment instead. Whatever it is, it's better than nothing, and I can definitely use that chromatic metal. I've warped to 3 new systems since you last seen me. I wanted to show you this moment with the Traveler. Now, I didn't want to show you his first question because it has to do with lore, but if you ask him a second question and pay him 100 nanites, you can find his grave location. Once you arrive on location, just hop out of your ship, run over to his grave marker, and then interact with the marker itself. Had to skip a little bit of lore. All you have to do is extract the glyph, and now you have your very first glyph. You need 16 total to go anywhere in the galaxy. Whenever you are searching Traveler graves and you happen to land on one of these really strange looking planets, make sure you scan the strange looking fauna that's there. You only need to scan one, and when you do, you can upload that, then claim the nanites bonus as well as the zoology bonus that you're going to receive as well. It's pretty awesome. Of course, I forgot to hit the record button when I find this 19 slot S-Class exotic. Of course I did. At this point, I have scrapped a whole bunch of ships and got a bunch of free storage augmentations. It's now time to pimp out this S-Class exotic that I want to max the slots out on eventually. She went from a 19 slot all the way up to a 39 slot. God, I love scrapping ships. Space Cheddar 1 is ready to go. I have some of the important upgrades on her, most importantly the economy scanner as well as the hyperdrive boosters. This is going to cut down on fuel costs quite considerably. From now on, I am going to be warping from system to system in a never-ending loop until I get all of my backpack slots, technology, and cargo upgraded. I get all 16 of my glyphs, and I find a half-decent multi-tool. After you upgrade one of your slots, make sure to check each of these vendors if you feel like it for upgrades, because they'll all sell them and they might have something decent. Snag up all the navigation data and nanites when you find it laying around on the space station, and always come to the cabinet and check out the multi-tool. After you get done checking everything, duck into this room here to the left and see if there's any travelers in here. If you don't see any travelers in here, head over to the terminal and sell all your cobalt. This is going to crash the market drastically. Once you have crashed the market, you're free to go back to the buy terminal. Every single one of these will have cobalt for sale, so you can buy it right back up at a huge discount. We'll be heading to the other side of the space station, and while I'm at it, I might as well tell you because I think I forgot. If you need a bunch of cobalt, just turn all that ionized cobalt right back into cobalt by putting the ionized cobalt into your refinery. You'll get 2 pieces of cobalt for every piece of ionized cobalt you put in there. If you ever want to stock up on any more cobalt at this point, it's just easy to go over to any of these little spaceship guys when they land on the space stations and buy extra cobalt there at the crashed price. We're just about at the end of the run I'm going to make on every single space station, no matter what the layout is. Our main goal though is to find all of our daggone travelers so I can get these 16 glyphs nailed out as soon as possible. It's been about an hour and 15 minutes since you last saw me, but I wanted everybody to be here for the moment that I crossed 1 billion space bones. And I ended up getting my 10th glyph in the same system. Things are really starting to come together. 20 minutes later of non-stop warping and searching every single space station later, I now have all of my general and technology slots completely maxed out. Now I'm just going to upgrade cargo from now on. Of course, the first S-Class multi-tool I find is a pistol. Man, what a bummer. I would have bought that if it was a rifle max slaughter. Now, well, I'm not going to worry about it. Once I get all 16 of my glyphs, I can pick up a really awesome S-Class multi-tool as well as ship. I just passed the 8 hours of gameplay mark. This should be another freighter battle. Here it is, and since I passed up on that first freighter and took the reward instead, I can now claim this capital ship for absolutely nothing. Seriously, travelers, watch just how fast this positron ejector melts the faces of these space scumbags. I mean, it's almost completely and totally unfair. One thing though that is kinda lame about these space battles, sure, my spaceship kicks a whole bunch of butts when it's all upgraded like this, but none of the other friendly fire will actually do much damage to the spaceships. kind of like it looks like they're helping you, but they're not really helping you, kind of sort of helping you, if you get what I mean. So I really hope that this freighter doesn't suck, because I have things to do, and the best way to check that is just to scan the deck. It's an A33-9. I think I'm just gonna snag it up. Now if you want, you can spend a whole bunch of time trying to get this in an S-Class. Now let's say you didn't want this ship and you wanted to hold out hope for an A34 or an S34 capital ship. Well, you can do that. It's really easy. All you have to do is reload your most recent autosave, then just fly back to the same system if you like the freighter skin. Each system you check will have different ship skins and colors. I highly recommend that you do this in a wealthy type system, because you'll have a better chance at getting an S-Class freighter. After we get all of our bag slots maxed out, well, I'm gonna come back to this freighter and build a super epic base. Can't wait to show you. Yeah, just stopped off to pick up this glyph, and god dang does it look hot outside. My god, there's a freaking extreme storm going on, no joke. Yeah, these upgrades are starting to get a bit expensive. That next one's gonna be $1 million a freaking pop. Yoink. Alright, gotta check the bloody box, because I've been doing this forever and I haven't found a decent weapon yet. Alright, that is a max slot A-class rifle. I think I'm gonna snag this one up for now. This is the multi-tool you saw me show in the very beginning of the video. I did get it completely pimped out, and after I got all my glyphs, I did end up getting the cheese maker, which I'll show you how to get at the end of the video. So yeah, forgot to mention that we crossed the 2 billion mark because I was too busy slobbering all over my brand new multi-tool. Well, now we're up, what, double bajillionaires or something? I ended up getting my 13th glyph on this really neat looking bubble planet, and while I was here, it was one of those special planets that have one fauna look like a floating balloon. Let's upload the balloon and collect the 250 nanites reward. You also get another bonus point to zoology, which is always quick and easy on these planets. Let's say you're checking these technology brokers and you find an upgrade module you want to buy, but you want to buy more than one of the same kind. Well, it's really simple to do that. After you buy that module, just run over to your ship. You're going to get in, then get back out. That's going to create a fresh autosave. Reload your autosave, wait for the game to load. When it does, you're going to run back over to the exact same vendor. He will have that item for sale again. I reloaded one last time and bought the third module. Now let's talk about module layout, because it really does matter. The S-Class modules that you purchase should be positioned in such a way that they touch 3 sides of the main module. Any modules that you can craft should touch the other 2 sides of the S-Class modules that you purchase. This layout will give my mining beam its max bonus. Ended up snagging my 16th glyph on this really awesome looking green planet. Hell yeah. From now on, every time I land on the space stations, I'm going to upgrade my suit slot. I'm going to check the vendors for any S-Class upgrades I want, and I'm always going to check the gun case. I'm going to do what I always do, sell all my cobalt, then turn around and buy it all right back up again. Then I'm going to fly outside and immediately summon the anomaly. Last but not least, I'm going to pick up another exosuit upgrade right here, so I'm going to get 2 per system. At this point, I'm getting really close to max slots, but I did get the Hand of Tongues, which sounds totally disgusting, completely maxed out. Mission complete. We have a pile of money, all of our slots upgraded, and all of our glyphs. In preparation to build the super ultimate glorious freighter base, we are going to need to buy all the hydroponic trays, as well as all the flowers that we can possibly grow. Now you can either go down to a whole bunch of different planets and moons to try to track down this plant material, or you can head to any trading posts on a planet, or head to your fleet carrier and buy the stuff there. None of these little ship guys will have vast quantities of what you need, but the thing is just like the refinery technique with chlorine and ionized cobalt, you only need a little bit, and you can turn that little bit into a whole bunch. Before we create our super ultimate glorious freighter base, we are going to have to remove all the back rooms and everything in it first. Before you even start to build your super ultimate mega freighter base, you want to come back here and delete all these extra back rooms and side hallways. Everything in it you're going to be able to destroy and get all of the materials back. Make sure you have plenty of silver and tritium on hand for when you start to build the gigantic room that we're going to build inside this freighter. Pay special attention to the material costs of the items I place, so you'll know what to stock up on. Most notably will be oxygen that can be refined down to carbon, then further refined down to condensed carbon. You're gonna need a boatload, and I mean a boatload of metal plating so you don't have to create them from ferrite dust. You'll need a decent stash of dihydrogen jellies as well as microprocessors when you start to build your refineries. Don't sweat it too much though. You have a terminal on your fleet carrier. You can park right outside of a space station. There are 2 terminals inside there, and there's all those little ship guys you can buy stuff from. So don't sweat it too much. Everything can be easily purchased in one of these wealthy systems. You're gonna be good to go. The beginnings of my freighter base, I generally just create a decent sized rectangle which will house a whole bunch of my plants as well as all my refineries. Let's open up this wall over here to even out the other side. This will make it a perfect rectangle. After that, we're going to run up to the front to place 4 fleet command rooms. Now, I really won't be going into what the fleet command rooms do. I'll save that for later videos. For now, I'm just getting the layout complete just so I can get my refineries and all my planners set in place. Once you have your basic rectangle complete, it is now time to place the Galactic Trade Terminal. This thing is going to be an invaluable tool for you while you're building your freighter base. Between this one, the 2 on the space station nearby, and all those little ship guys, you're going to have absolutely everything you need to get this freighter put together quick. At this point, I definitely recommend you save your progress. Time to throw down some large hydroponic trays just to make sure the size of our rectangle is perfect. If it's perfect, you'll have a nice pathway all the way around and in between each row of these large hydroponic trays. This makes picking your plants nice and easy later once they bloom. We also need to make sure we have plenty of room to throw down a whole bunch of large refineries. As you can see, we're using a lot of pure ferrite, metal plating, and carbon, so keep that in mind. If you think you have enough of the 3 elements that are shown right now, well, you'll be wrong every single time. I promise you, you're going to need to build well over 160 of these large planners just out of sheer greed. Now, this is likely a bug. I don't think you're supposed to be able to build these large refineries this close together. If that's the case for you, all you have to do to get around the range restrictions of these things is just to ring the outside edges of your rectangle. You can stick them into some recessed rooms just so they stay out of the outer pathway around your freighter. You could also learn how to do glitch building, which will get around the range restrictions of anything you want to place. You can place as many of these daggone things right next to each other as you want to. However you have to do it, just build as many of the large refineries as possible, because the more large refineries you have, the smaller your farm can be. I have all of my large refineries in place as well as all of my growing trays. It is now time for me to show you how to mass produce all this plant material. To create more fungal mold, you will need fungal mold itself and ammonia. For gamma root, you're going to need the plant material itself and uranium. For selenium, you need the plant material and phosphorus. Frost crystals, you'll need the plant material and dioxide. Cactus flesh requires the plant material itself and pyrite. Starbulb requires the plant material and paraffinium. The easiest way to make faecium is with carbon and dihydrogen. You can create mordite from carbon and pugnium. Once you have all your refineries set up, it's just about combining your stacks to continuously grow them over and over until we have enough to do all of our planning. As far as faecium and mordite goes, well, you can turn faecium into mordite. Your main goal is just to stock up on a bunch of both. At this point, I have a decent stash of all the plant materials I need to start growing, so let's get our green fingers on and start planting. But first, we make a save point. The very first plant we'll be planting is frostwort. This is mainly used in making glass as well as living glass for your building structures. The funny thing is, we don't have any of the blueprints to craft any of this stuff that we can make from the plant material quite yet, because we haven't even hired the Gek, Korvax, or Viking NPC for our base quests. Those quests will give you blueprints to craft all of the in-game items that you need in No Man's Sky, even if you don't really need the money anymore, because you're basically a space bajillionaire at this point. But seeing as how I always love to build a gigantic mega base planet side, I might as well dedicate 2 rows of my planners to this frostwort. I'm going to dedicate 1.5 rows to gamma weed. I'm going to dedicate the other half of this row to gut rot flower, since faecium is so easy to get. I dedicated an entire row as well as a short row to starbulb. On the next 2 short rows, I'm going to completely fill that up with fungal cluster. The very last short row will be dedicated to growing nothing but mordite root. The next 2 long rows of hydroponic trays will be dedicated to growing cactus flesh. The last 2 long rows of my hydroponic trays will be dedicated to growing all of the solar vine that I'm going to need. Now that I have all my main plants sorted, I decided to build a little back room so I could grow Gravitino hosts, the plants that make albium pearls, as well as grow nip-nip buds. I definitely know early on in the base quest after you hire the NPCs, you are going to need a bunch of Gravitino balls, so you might as well just be prepared. Before we head out and I show you how to use your portal glyphs and get your cheese maker of your very own, let's throw down a few of these freighter storage units. It's going to vastly increase the amount of stuff that you can store, or hoard, however you want to think about it. The very best way to find a portal is to head over to a space station and click on this cartographer here. Once you click on them, you want to purchase a random map for 15 nanites. I generally purchase about 4 or 5 of these maps. Once you have enough random maps on hand, you are going to be exchanging for a specific type of map. Purchase the one that says alien cartographic data, get at least 4 or 5 of these maps. Open up your inventory and then plot route on the alien data. Hop into your ship and then head over to the ancient rune location. Sadly, we are looking for an ancient monolith, but if you want, you can run around and snag up all these knowledge stones that are laying around this monolith. I mooched up a few extra words while I was here, then plotted another course on the alien data. Let's hope we can find an ancient monolith this time. Hell yeah. Yoinked up a whole bunch more words. Now let's interact with this monolith in hopes that it can show us exactly where a portal location is. It's very important that you create a restore point right here. You have to answer this next answer correctly or you're not going to be able to find where the portal is located. Of course I choked and I had to reload my save. Now I know the correct answer is wait. At this point, now we can answer our 3rd question and it's going to direct us to the portal. The 3rd question is basically you giving them a race-specific item that can be purchased from the freighter ship guys or at any trade post on planets. Plop down a base terminal behind me. It is now time to get this portal all charged up so we can actually use it. This will take just base simple items to get, and of course I don't have any copper. I'm gonna have to mine that up after I get all the other glyphs charged up. There's always something. Alright, got all the copper sorted. Now this portal is completely charged. We're gonna be able to go get that doggone cheese maker. I am so freaking excited. Pause the video if you want the address to the multi-tool now. The last one is the pointer. Alright, so this effect is actually really cool. It reminds me of one of my favorite shows, Stargate SG-1. It's time to cross the void. Once you get there, just hop into your ship. The actual location will be behind you on the other side of the planet. Just look for the nearest communication station. This multi-tool that I named the cheese maker is so perfect for me. It has a yellow body with a blue crystal. It's totally sweet. Huge shout out to KJPC Gaming and Z Hunt for tracking down this multi-tool. Links to them will be down in the description. Oh my god, I'm like freaking out. Let me inside. Give me a second. I need to wipe the drool off my freaking lip here. This is an amazing multi-tool. I'm so happy that you found this, KJ and Z Hunt. Look how beautiful it is, and it's gonna kick a whole bunch of butt for me. I hope this video was helpful to your gameplay. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you in future No Man's Sky Frontier videos. Peace.